Hello, T3 Plays here. We're going to be covering the expert solo battles for Extra Dimensional Crisis. So, as always, we're going to try and do a couple of the missions together just to showcase look, you can do them one at a time, and I'll show you that even I put the extra criteria on myself is doable. So, you should be able to find and mix and match what you have in your deck to be able to compete. So I'm doing obviously the three rarity and below, as well as using typing weakness. So all you have to do is think about it. Okay, I'm going up against a grass deck. It's a strong deck. What do I use? So you want to make sure you're using dark Pokemon that is not weak to grass. Because with dark Pokemon, there's two weaknesses they have. One is against fighting, and one against dark. So you cannot use like the Guzzlord, Darkrai, you're going to be super weak. So you focus on the dark, weak Pokemon because then you can hang in there without taking too much damage. So we've used the Crobat line, paired it with the Nihilego for that extra poison damage. So you get the double Nihilego, poison them. Then you got the residual damage every turn, and Crobat, even though we can't use its, cunning link ability to attack, it's still a really good attacker. One energy can do 50 damage. It's pretty decent, and obviously, depend. You can mix and match with whatever you have in your deck. The main focus is do not use Pokemon that are weak to grass, and then you can find something that you can use. And obviously, you can do the missions individually. I put extra condition on myself to show you it's possible. And obviously, sometimes it takes a couple of tries, but you can do it. So look, the poison damage will get them eventually, and they're relying on Celesteela. I've covered this before. You cannot rely on Celesteela to attack. So through this, we take it down. This took a couple of tries as well, because I tried different decks. I thought, okay, I wanted to use a croc deck using what's it called, crocodile, or crocorock. That's what it's called. But it's weak to grass. But I thought, let me use it because I really want to use it. But no, okay, the Tapu Koko version. This I wanted to do two conditions together. So using a water deck combined with no trainer cards. Yeah, it's impossible. Do not do it. I've wasted enough turns trying to make it work. It is too difficult. So with this, what you want to focus on, use ice Pokemon. So use whatever you've got, but I prefer using Alolan Sandslash because of that damage it does. So this kind of focus around Pokemon that if you attack it, you get damaged with. So Pukumuku, even though it's not an ice Pokemon, it's water typing. Well, all is a water typing, but it's either you're weak to electric or weak to metal. So you want to focus on Pokemon that are weak to, not weak to lightning, but the Pukumukus. The damage that they can do by getting knocked out allows you to build up your backline and allows you to get the Pokemon out. So, if you start off Pukimiga, you put them in. Then you need, okay, you can go into the Alolan Sand Slash if you pull it, because it does what minimal damage, 20 damage, but every time it gets attacked, does 40 damage. But then you need a finisher. Have something in your backline that can do a lot of damage that you can build up to. I chose to use the Palkia for energy, and you can do 150, one shot, nearly everything, and residual damage to the bench. Like, what can you ask for? Obviously, the main focus is try and use ones Pokemon that are not weak to lightning. Even though most of my deck here is weak to lightning, the reason why you put in the other Pokemon at the Pikuniku because of that damage. So see what you have. Pikuniku, look at the deck. My you before I started with pure, ice typing, etc. But you can switch it around, see what works for you, see what you have in your deck. So this is the no trainer card. So you want to use obviously fighting Pokemon because that's what this deck is weak to. You need to make sure you have non-EX Pokemon in there as well because you'll face the Oricorio. And what you want to focus on, you don't want to have too many different lines. You don't want to have too many different lines of Pokemon that you rely on something you can't pull it. The great thing with this Rockruff is you're guaranteed to get that Rockruff. I don't have um, like Rampardos. If I did, I would run like the Lycanroc Rampardos and throw a lot more fossils in just to take out. Actually, you can't put fossils. I forgot about that. Yeah, you can't do that. So do what I did. So I would use the Lycanroc, I use the Marchamp line, and put the EX versions as well as the non-EX versions. So you have options. Even though they're taking up deck spaces, it gives you options. You're not blocking yourself. The Garchomp line is amazing because you don't need to support cast like Sabrina. You can reach over, hit the bench. So if they try and hide their Pokemon on the bench, the Garchomp can catch them. Then with the Machamp, look, we've got the Machamp, we've got both versions available to us. Then the Regirock is there just to tank. So the beginning, put it up there, tank for us, slow them down. 1 point Pokemon where you don't mind losing. And I think this deck is amazing because of what you can do. Try it out. And the no trainer card, it gets very tough. So, you know, you need to make sure you think about what you have. So we also have the Sudowoodos to battle the EX Pokemon. So I really like that deck. So next up, using lightning type Pokemon only. So this focuses on Oricorio. Oricorio is your route to win. Why? Because they use Persimmon EX as well as Lycanroc EX. And you put in the Oricorio in front means they can't do anything. The game logic isn't intelligent enough. I think at one point they did correct it, but now it's gone back to usual. They can attack whatever. They're strong against lightning. They can attack whatever. But alas, no. We started with the Togedemaru, so it doesn't really matter what you have in terms of lightning Pokemon. But I really like the Togedemaru because it can do early damage before they get their energy up. Can get that quick damage in. If you flip heads along with the Sophocles, that's what it's called, Sophocles, whatever it's called. You can do a lot of damage before you rotate into the Oricorio and just stall, get your Pokemon up. And like I've said before, you want to have a Pokemon that can do a lot of damage. So the Zapdos is here for that because it can potentially do 200. So whatever you come up against, bang, put it in. One thing that's scary is they do have double Lucario coming up probably. So that will boost the damage that their Pokemon can do. So you got to be wary of that. And obviously, the Lucario can take out the Oricorio, but by that time, you get the Zapdos ready. And Zapdos can pretty much one-shot everything. But yeah, even any of these, what I'll showcase later on is any of these no trainer card battles, you can kind of put in Oricorio just to stall. Because most of these use EX Pokemon. You use that to just stall out. Yep, going to the next version. So here, we're using Oricorio again. Even though we're not even using electric energy. We got lucky enough we started with Oricorio. We don't have electric energy. We start off with it, put it at the front. And what that allows us to do is build our backline. So obviously you got a lot of random Pokemon. Well, not random, but like I've said before, you want to pair Pokemon together. So make sure you got the full lines. You don't want to have so many different lines that you brick. So see what you get, what you have in your deck, and then obviously you want a really good finisher. So I've got a Giratina in there, Mewtwo. So there's a lot of Pokemon in here that can finish. So, but the Oricorio is there, biding our time. We've only got one Pokemon at the back. That's not enough. Like the Persimmon is weak to Psychic, but the Lycanroc isn't. So we need to make sure we can hit them hard. They've got the Lucarios there. Well, one Lucario there, one coming up, and they can one-shot everything. So we're gonna make sure that we build our back line up, and we use non-EX Pokemon as well to attack, because we're okay to risk a couple of those, and we need to actually do some damage on that Lycanroc because that health is too tanky. We don't have anything that can do 170. We don't have a red to do extra damage, but we need to wait to get our Tapu Lele, and we kind of filled up our bench already. So what we kind of need to do is attack with the Gardevoir, and then eventually get the Tapu Lele out. And so we got the Tapu Lele on the bench, so we can rotate into it. But when you get the Oricorio, put energy, rotate into it, so we can start attacking the Lycanroc. I was hoping, well, it doesn't matter. Even if the Lycanroc was at the back line, can still target it. And with the Lunala EX, we can move energy up. So if we didn't have the Lunala EX, because we wasted our energy on the Oricori to rotate out, Lunala's ability helped us out. And now we can one-shot the Giratina. There's nothing in their backline that can one-shot us. Even with the Lucario being beefed up, even with a red card, they don't take us out, and we take them out. So the route to victory is that Oricorio just blocking their path, allows us time to build. So make sure you try it out for yourself. As you put together whatever deck you can find, grass deck, psychic deck, put it with the Oracle and see how you perform. Next up, we have using psychic Pokemon against Guzzlord EX. So it's a dark Pokemon, and obviously here what you got to be thinking about is make sure you're using psychic Pokemon that aren't weak to dark. So some of these psychic Pokemon are weak to metal. So see what you have. I really like the Togekiss line. Why? Because you can do a lot of damage early on. You can quickly ramp up with the rare candy, and you got Cynthia. Cynthia lets you do extra 50 damage. So in your first 10, you can do 110, and then you can do 120 consistently because with Togekiss it has 60 damage on your next attack. And if you even do a second round attack along with Cynthia, what can you do? You can do 120, you can do 170 damage. You can one shot a Guzzlord. So that's why I really recommend the Togekiss. Obviously, you can pair it up with other psychic Pokemon that aren't weak to dark. So you got the what's it called, Tapu Lele. So I'll put the Tapu Lele in here. I've also included the Oricorio, the psychic version, because of its ability to hit for 80. That's really powerful. So I completed this battle once before, but I used the wrong Tapu Lele. I had the full art version. So obviously I'm doing the use psychic Pokemon, and I want to also do the use 3 rarity and below, but obviously the full art versions are rare, so I had to do it another time, swap out my Tapu Lele for the non full art version. So this is the deck that I use. So previously I had the full art Tapu Lele, so I swapped it out. Next up, this is pretty easy enough. Use water Pokemon and 3 rarity and below. So I've obviously put that condition on myself. You can attack them individually. So I want to try out this deck. So once again, Pikumuku, very handy. If you lead with it, put it at the front, allows you to stall. And then I wanted to use the Sharpedo just because it's a cool Pokemon. I really liked it when I was playing the Pokemon games, so I wanted to use it again, even though it's not great. 2 energy 50, but you can discard energy. And once again, you want a kind of a big hitter. The big hitter I've decided to use is the Palkia, the origin form Palkia. So you can has potential to do 120. Don't have anything else that can do enough, like similar to that or high enough, as well as being a basic. So it's pretty cool. You've got your Iridas to keep it alive, and I move around my Pokemon just to help stall out. Then I put in my Shark or Sharpedo, put the Rocket Helmet in, and I use the Giovanni, which will take them down to 20 energy. So if they want to attack, they lose their Excadrill. So obviously, play around with what you have. But I do like the Pikumuku, and I think obviously you're not going to put this extra condition on yourself to use 3 rarity and below, but pretty easy enough. Just make sure you're not using ice Pokemon so that you don't have the extra damage. So that's the one thing you have to be cognizant of. Use normal water Pokemon that are weak to electric, not metal, and you do pretty fine. Obviously, it might take a couple of turns because this Alolan Dugtrio come out of nowhere and do a lot of damage. 2 energy and potential to do what, 180. It can catch you off guard. We get the win. It took us a couple of tries just to make sure we start off with the right Pokemon or we just had a bad hand. This is the deck I use. Just make sure when you come up with your deck, just make sure you're not weak to metal with the water Pokemon you choose. We completed the hard tasks. The rest of them are pretty easy enough to take on. If you enjoyed what you've seen so far, make sure you like, comment, subscribe. If you're struggling with something, drop me a message. And if you do try some of the tips that I've used, make sure you leave a comment, share, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.